First person that we're going to have speech is Peggy Morton. She is representing ECAWAR. Thank you, Peggy.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to salute everyone for coming out on a cold day and saluting the courage, especially of the young women who took the lead when we didn't have a police permit and once again defended our right to walk the streets and express ourselves. I want to just let everyone think about the scenario in Afghanistan for a while. First of all, this works if I come over here, right? First of all, we're having the United States, according to its own citizens, is a failed state. Recently, there was a poll of Americans, and more than 80% of Americans said that their government is broken. That's a failed state, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That state is headed by the biggest warlord of the world. So we have a failed state headed by the biggest warlord of the world, the only country in the world which has ever used chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons against the people of the world.
Shame! Shame!
And our government, Stephen Harper, tells us that a mission conceived and led by this warlord has something to do with peace, democracy, and development. We're here, and Canadians are here all across Canada today, in 30 cities or more, to say no, to say bring the troops home now, to say Canada out of Afghanistan. We're here to say that far from a mission for peace and democracy, this is an occupation which is a crime. Whether it's Palestine, Iraq, Afghanistan, Lebanon, Chechnya, Haiti, or any other country in the world, we Canadians must stand for the right of everyone to self-determination, for the right of everyone to decide their own affairs. Can you believe that we were told yesterday, or a few days ago, earlier this week, I was told by a soldier, and I don't blame the soldier, that he's in Afghanistan so I won't have to wear a veil.
Oh!
Now, having said that, I don't think I need to go into the disinformation involved in that. We have this pressure being put on the movement that the issue is what the soldiers think of the mission. That the issue is not the mission, but the issue is to support the troops. We, of course, say that we're going to support the troops by bringing them home. But we condemn and denounce this attempt in a city where the sons and daughters of the working class are being sent to fight the people of Afghanistan, are being disinformed and misinformed about the mission there to make the troops the issue. We are going to keep this issue firmly on the Harper government, firmly on the Liberals and the Conservatives who sent them there in the first place, firmly on those who, in the wake of September 11th, when Bush decided, let's recall, that this Afghan mission was planned before September 11th. But in the wake of September 11th, in that spirit of revenge and retribution, Bush declared, you are either with us or you are against us. And it is very clear to everyone that the Canadian government went there to placate Bush, that the Canadian government there freed troops to go to Iraq, that the Canadian government has taken up this mission as a mission because it wants to be part of that Fortress America. It wants to be part of that Fortress America of George Bush, which has as its aim world domination, which has as its aim to establish its hegemony, its dictate over the people of the whole world. And we are completely confident that the consensus that is developing in Canada today against this, not only against the mission in Afghanistan, but against that role for Canada in the world, we're completely confident that that's going to prevail, that it's going to grow. And we have a lot of work to do to make sure that it does. We're confident in this because we know that Canadians will never support something unless they believe that it will help establish peace in the world. They will not support it on any other basis. And this mission, we know, does not do that, and there's a growing consensus in Canada. So what are the tasks that face the anti-war movement? Well, in ECAWAR's statement for today, it makes a number of points as to what we need to do. The first is that we need to fight to establish an anti-war government in Canada.
Woo!
When we walked on the streets and we said, who decides? We decide. That means not just that we decide that we will walk the streets and we will defend that right. It also means that we have to fight to deal with this question that our democracy is not working anymore, that our democracy does not allow the Canadian people to make decisions about the role of our country in the world, or about Canadian foreign policy, about what's going on inside the country, about our role vis-a-vis the US, and we need to change that. We need to transform it. We need to bring about that renewal and that transformation. So we are fighting for real democracy in Canada.
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Who decides?
We decide!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Who decides?
We decide!
It also means that we have to fight to get Canada out of NATO, which is an aggressive military alliance.
Very good!
So we stand for getting Canada out of NATO. It means that we want Canada to take a stand in the world which defends the right of every people to determine their own affairs, which stands against occupation everywhere. It means that we want Canada to fight for a United Nations which can reflect the people of the world and not be used by the superpowers in order to impose their will, or by the superpower in order to impose its will. And that's what we stand for today. We may be small, but that was a march with spirit. And let's take that spirit back to our collectives, to our workplaces, to our schools, our institutions, wherever we are, and make sure that that discussion and that consensus amongst Canadians gets going, and that we ourselves take up the question, how are we going to establish that anti-war government? How are we going to realize our first step to get Canada out of Afghanistan, to bring the troops home now, as the first step in establishing that anti-war government? Thank you very much.